Hey everyone, it's Michele Bellisari, your host of So Boca Stories in conjunction with SoBoca.com and at SoBoca on Instagram. So glad you're here today. This podcast is all about Boca Raton and being local. I love interviewing local business owners, folks that are involved with the nonprofits, things that are happening around town, places to go, and things to see. So I'm so happy you're here today. I hope you enjoy this week's episode. And if you're so inclined, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. I so appreciate it. And if you would like to be interviewed for the show, just reach out to me. Everything is in the show notes. Have a great day. This episode of So Boca Stories podcast is brought to you by Michele Bellisari with the Bellisari Group, powered by Real Broker LLC. If you have a referral, please think of me, Michele B. I would love to help you with your real estate transaction. I love listing and working with buyers, and I know all the best realtors all over the world. So if you need a referral, no matter where you live, please feel free to reach out to me, Michele B. I'm so happy that you can join us today. And on the So Boca Stories podcast, which we stream live. And if you guys don't know, Jessica is fantastic. It's Jessica Del Vecchio. She is the Economic Development Manager for the City of Boca Raton and has been doing some amazing things the last few years for our city and is a wealth of knowledge. So I thought this would be really great if we could have Jessica on and talk a little bit about what's going on around Boca Raton. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you. Yeah, so I've been the Economic Development Manager for the City of Boca Raton for 6 years now. Just this month was my 6-year anniversary, so it's kind of exciting. We've worked on a lot of projects. Kelly Kennedy and I run the office ourselves, through City Hall, obviously. And through COVID, we've been busier than ever. So this is good timing to be sitting here with you.
Yeah, and isn't that the biggest surprise I think that we've all had? Because as a realtor, I thought, the real estate market was going to be kind of a problematic, right? And then to know that became huge during this time. And then the other piece of the pie is that, so many companies and corporations want to come here. And so one of the things I had done is I reached out to Jessica a couple weeks ago because I had someone reach out to me about moving their tech company to South Florida. And so Jessica, being the wealth of knowledge that she is about what's going on, finger on the pulse in Boca, Palm Beach County, and South Florida, we were talking a little bit about that. And I said, come on the show and let's talk about businesses and why they are really, really enthralled with our beautiful city.
Yeah, so like you said, through COVID, it's been a year now. We've all been working from home, or for some capacity, some people are working hybrid mode, and from what we've tracked, 11 companies have come to Boca Raton. We've assisted on those transfers and those relocations. Technology is something that we're seeing a lot of. In fact, the city hired an Office of Innovation just to cover the technology sector that we're seeing an influx of people coming in to Boca. We talked about the real estate market. You reached out to me a few weeks ago to talk about a tech company. I get that all the time from residential realtors. Used to be I would hear mostly from commercial realtors, but lately I'm hearing more from the residential side of things because people are moving their families here first and then looking for corporate space, which is, for us, it's a little bit backwards. So we're kind of seeing a shift, like everyone else has had to pivot. Our team has had to pivot. And like when I say we're busy, I mean productive, not just busy. I have someone coming in this week out of New York. We're showing some parcels. I have to be somewhat discreet. We're showing them some parcels of what we have to offer here in Boca Raton. They're flying in, they're vaccinated, the whole 9 yards, 2 executives coming in. And we'll be driving around in separate cars. Used to be we used sometimes to take the same car. So there's protocols we're following now. But everything that we're telling you that we're seeing is that you're reading in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, the New York Post. We're actually seeing it here on the ground. So your call to me was great, but we're getting a lot of calls like that. So we're happy to kind of partner with you guys, being the guys who run the real estate here in Boca.
Right, exactly. And so Boca loves to have a finger on the pulse, just in general, to be able to share information as to what is going on here and why people are coming here. And it's so interesting because, when I moved here back in the late 70s, it was a much smaller community, much smaller town. However, a very thriving community. And fast forward now, we are super global and, a world renowned city that is known wherever you go in the world. You don't even say Raton, you just say Boca. People know our community. Mm-hmm. What are you finding the people that are, interested in coming here, the corporations and the CEOs and whatnot, what are their like top 2 or 3 things that is driving them to coming to our area?
Sure. So one of the main things for executives is the taxes. There's tax benefits of being based in Boca Raton, but these tax benefits have been in the state forever. So it's not, I don't think that was the catalyst. I think the catalyst has been COVID. People that have been cooped up in, even if you have a beautiful place in Manhattan, you're still in lockdown. And, they went through a terrible time with the weather and lockdown and no restaurants. And then most of them have some sort of access to South Florida. They come down for the weekend or they come down for their second home. So they were realizing, wow, why are we going back again? So we're seeing that the people that either have always thought about coming down when they retired. So another thing we probably want to touch upon is how we're aging younger. Like you moved here in the 70s, I moved here in 91. Sure, I've seen 1,000 things that have changed. You probably have obviously seen more because you came here sooner. But we're still seeing that trajectory, that change. You see our downtown getting all those luxury rentals and luxury condos that are for sale, that condo that went for sale, the penthouse for $10 million. I mean, that's something if you told me in 1991 that there was going to be a $10 million
right.
condo across from the Boca Resort, I'm not so sure I would believe you. But now, as you see how we have huge assets here with the airport and obviously the universities with work talent from a work perspective. When the executives come here, they want to know where to get their workforce. So that's important for them.
Well, and I think too, we're seeing some very interesting things happening in our downtown. Obviously, we have Mandarin Oriental, which we've been all watching very closely and with excitement. My daughter, Allie, and I were just talking about the fact that it's going to be a very cool addition, not just to the downtown, but to the city and to our complete area from a couple of standpoints. One, they're going to have some amenities that are going to be open to the public, which is going to be great. The location is fantastic. And so couple that with our beautiful Boca Raton airport and the customs facility there, it's a real win-win for us. And I think the other thing is we're starting to see some changes at Meisner Park happening, which I think is going to be great.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It will be great. So from that perspective, we have a couple things. So the Mandarin Oriental, that'll be downtown. From a local perspective, for us, that brand is a game changer. There's only the one in Miami and all of that. But as you come up from Broward County, we're the first city outside of Broward, you're going to hit that street, Camino Real, and you're going to see the Mandarin Oriental, which is obviously a brand in and of itself. There's other residential online, Alina Residencies, Tower 155, and those types of projects that are attracting not just Northeasterners, but that $10 million condo I mentioned is a local that bought that, a Boca Ratonian, if you could even say that. So what we're seeing also from, you mentioned the airport. So the airport is a huge asset to ours. And we've been doing, through COVID, we've been able to market our city in inserts in the Wall Street Journal. We had an insert in the San Francisco Chronicle. We had an insert in Chicago Tribune, just hitting those markets that were going through winter storms, that were going through COVID, just like we were, but ours was a little bit better. And now with the airport, we've partnered with, we didn't unveil it yet, so we'll be unveiling it next, probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, but we partnered with Signature, Atlantic, and Privera. They're the 2 FBOs, and then Privera has been a partner. They just know how to work the community. They're very welcoming to everyone. We'll be putting up big posters advertising our city. Make it a one-way trip. It'll be a beautiful jet photo. Make it a one-way trip for people that are coming off these jets and they say to themselves, what are we doing? Leaving, coming here on a Friday and leaving on Sunday night. So we're just trying to tap into that market that's here, that's coming here every weekend. I live in the flight pattern. I see those jets. I mean, they're beautiful jets coming through our city. We want to tap into that market.
Totally agree, because occasionally I'm in the jet path too, which, by the way, is no big deal. And I see these beautiful planes coming over.
I'm fascinated by it. I literally be in my pool and be like, whoa, hold on, there's a jet. When the football when the football conference is here, they have like on their I don't fly private, so I don't know what that thing is called. On their tail, it'll have the name of the team, and I'm like, woo!
No, that's a lot of fun.
It's amazing what comes to Boca.
I totally agree with you, and that's so funny because when I'm out in my yard and I see one, or I'm over off of Highland Beach because my girlfriend's got a place there, and I'll see on a Sunday when they're leaving, and I'm like, oh wait, and these new iPhones now are fantastic because you can really zoom in, and I'm like, that's a great shot. I'm fascinated too. And as a kid, my dad used to take me to the airport and we watched planes take off and land. So I am like you, so fascinated. And we're very fortunate to have this airport here. The convenience factor and the customs facility is just such a win-win. And everything that the city is providing and doing is fantastic. Are you finding that there's any specific industry that you're seeing more of coming here, or is it just right across the board?
So pre-COVID, we primarily focused on corporate relocation. Corporations, Orange Theory is based here. I have a slide I can show you, maybe send you if anyone who's watching wants to see, just of all the logos. It's 2 slides of logos of big names that are here. That a lot of people know, Office Depot and ADT, because they're kind of on the outskirts of the park at Brook and Sound. They're within the park, but they're on your model.
Right.
You see those HQs. But that's a 700-acre park. So there's a lot of HQs in there. Big name HQs, small names, privately held, publicly traded. So it was up to us to identify that. Through COVID, what we have seen, the influx of the attraction is financial firms. So you're making a great point. So we're seeing a shift from the corporate. We still had Colony Capital as a corporate HQ that relocated from LA, but they're in the real estate investment. They're a REIT, so they're also in the investment side of things. And we've seen a number of financial firms moving here because of the wealth and the luxury here. I mean, that's not me. I work for the city, but there's definitely a market for those types of firms, that are flying private. People talk about flying private into the City of Boca Raton and what an asset it is. The economic impact of that airport is incredible. People get here, they go for dinner, they hit the mall. That money they're spending in our city could go anywhere. So having it here, it helps all of us.
It absolutely does. And I think touching on the shopping aspect here, the Parks and Rec here, the infrastructure that we have, some of the things that are starting to happen. I know in my neighborhood, I'm getting underground FP&L lines. I am so happy. I'm like, I came home one day and Michelle B went, oh my God, it's like a hive of worker bees right now. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. These guys were just unbelievable, incredible. I mean, they just were very, very focused on how they were doing this my whole street. I must have had 50 trucks literally on my street. But that's the sort of stuff that we love to see because it's so proactive and it shares. And, of course, we always get questions about, well, what about hurricane season? My stock answer is, well, the good news is we can prepare for it. And you don't have to stay. You can always leave. It's to me, it's always something we think about, but it's something that is, there's workarounds with it regardless, prepping your home and the contractors here that you can talk to help you go through that or ease you through any concerns that you have. Like this city is so well prepared. It's unbelievable.
Right.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah. And we also have, for corporations, that's a concern coming out of a state that doesn't have that. But like you said, there's a preparation period. It's not like a tornado that hits and wow, came out of nowhere, or you have a few minutes, the alarm. My husband grew up in Indiana, so the alarm goes off, you run down underground, basically. I'm oversimplifying it. It's stressful and all of that. But one thing to consider when you're a corporate HQ is the Boca Raton Innovation Campus. So the Innovation Campus has the power, literally, to run for 13 days if they were to lose power, they could still run for 13 days. So if you have some sort of technology that has to be up and running, or because you're servicing people in other parts of the state, we do have those redundancy plans, and private ownership, like Profit Partners, has that too, which settles people's nerves.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And again, with all of the activity that's happening, I don't know about you, but I am feeling that we're not really slowing down, and it's probably not going to slow down for quite some time because although Florida has always been amazing, South Florida, fantastic, now people have really narrowed into where they want to be in Palm Beach County in particular. And they can, home base here. They can have their companies here. And then they have access to Palm Beach, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, your short john over to Naples. You can fly to the Bahamas for the weekend. It is just so well located for companies, corporations, CEOs, families, everyone. We're very lucky. And we're very lucky that you're here.
Totally. I get to sell the best city in the world. Truly. Like you just mentioned a million things, and there's a million more behind it. The school system we have here. The fact that I keep driving this home aging younger, it's because it's a message I want to put out there, because people don't realize our median age now is 47. Maybe it's 47.5 based on census numbers. But I think in a few months or years, when those new numbers come out, it'll be even younger. We're seeing people, all my calls lately are based around relocation. They've already purchased their residential property, which I told you before was something that we had never really dealt with before, but now they want to know about the schools. So we have a great reputation for our school system. You mentioned all the travel, and not everyone flies private. We're equidistant between Fort Lauderdale and West Palm International Airport, so we have that going for us, and we're an hour from Miami. Soon it'll be even quicker when we have Brightline. So we truly are a great city. Like, I know I have pom-poms for Boca, but
we both
true.
do.
It's real. I love it.
we both love it here. And Jessica and I've collaborated on things before because we have golf. We have so much going on here. And speaking of Brightline, do you want to touch on that a little bit? Because obviously everything got a little delayed with COVID. And we are getting a station here, by the way, guys, over by the library. Yep. So if you want to touch on that a little bit, that'd be great.
Well, other than the delay, there hasn't been, as far as I know, any changes. They're still moving forward with their project. We do get inquiries on that enough. I won't say a lot, but nothing, as far as I know, has changed in the game plan. They are moving forward. I think they also are looking further up north to extend the track even further, which would only benefit us who want to go to Orlando and go, further up the state and in a nice, confined, Wi-Fi savvy train. I don't know if you've been on the train before. Pre-COVID, I was able to get on in West Palm, and the station it resembles a smaller, cleaner, I would compare it more to an airport. I come from New York, so I know Penn Station. That's like, to me, that's how I grew up. You would run through Penn Station as fast as you could. This is totally different. You're going to stop, you're going to get a snack, you're going to grab a water or a coffee, and then you're going to go onto your train. It's really the way we should be traveling, for safety and convenience, I think. But there's really not much I can add to as far as what I think is.
And I did not get a chance to get on there. I was planning on it in 2020, but that didn't happen.
Right. Look what happened.
But one of the cool things is, as a Lily Pulitzer lover, they had a whole thing that they were doing with Lily Pulitzer, which, listen, that just was like, that was it for me. So I'm excited.
You're in.
Well, and you know what's funny? Let's talk about trending younger, because my kids are 25 and 31. And so for many years, I was on the downtown advisory committee for the city. And one of my goals was always to put out there that I wanted my kids to want to come back to Boca when they graduated. They went to Florida Gulf Coast University over in Fort Myers Estero area. But we have FAU here. We have Lynn University here. We have Palm Beach State College here. We got so much here. It's crazy. But my big thing was always like, listen, I want the younger people to want to come back here. And if they're graduating from any of these schools, I want them to stay here. What can we do for them? And we're starting to see more and more things starting to happen. And so having Brightline, I think is going to be huge. One, because I love going to Miami. I don't always want to Uber down there, and I don't always want to drive, but I'll take Brightline because I love Wynwood. I love South Beach. I love Art Basel.
Yes.
I love going to Heat Game. Yeah. So this is the sort of thing that on top of everything else Jessica is sharing with us today and what is happening here is going to just be like the cherry on top of this great Boca Raton cupcake.
Right. Yeah. Like the Bright Line will open us up to, from my perspective, when people come in, it's the workforce. So now we can pull workforce from Miami and they can pull workforce from us. And it just makes it a little bit more competitive. And there's nothing better than a little healthy competition for people. It raises wages. You know what I mean? Like if you're going up for a job and you have this and someone else, it just is a healthy way to increase the wages of everyone in our neighborhood, being
exactly.
South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, obviously. But you mentioned aging young. I mentioned aging younger. I just, because of Seinfeld, I want to kill him with the Del Boca Vista. I can't get past that. When I cold call New York, they're like, oh, it's a retirement community. And it is. We're also a tourism community. We're also a corporate community. Like, we do have it all. So it's a barrier that I like to drive this point home. But, I talk about anecdotal evidence, like my friends who have children that are went to college and now they're coming back. And I applaud that, because we don't want, it's called brain drain. We don't want these smart brains to go elsewhere when they could be so utilized here. But something that's all anecdotal, what we're seeing, but we actually have some hard data this year, which we've never had before, that I forget the analytical firm. Kelly and I work with a lot of analytical firms that gave us these data. We provide our census data and they kind of analyze it. All those cool places that are going in, there's the strikes, which is the bowling and entertainment. Now, clearly we're not there yet with COVID, but we all see kind of like, it's changing. We're getting better at the vaccinations and people are getting more inclined slowly but surely to safely soon start heading out again. But I hope that, it's not really hope, I think knowing that they can go, to the beach on a Saturday all day, these Gen Zs, and then come home, take a quick shower and go to Meisner Park. That's how you keep them, because they want things to do. We were all that age.
They want things to do. And it would be, when city council and whatnot get together, they got to really, really look at who the demographics are. And even like, I know we're working on getting this beautiful cultural center at Meisner Park. And one of the conversations I had with them was, that's great. Get some young people on your board, because it cannot continue to be the same people all the time.
I hear you. I think the younger brains, the vision is with that age group for sure.
I'm talking to Allie a little bit more about it. Kylie's not here as much because she's a flight attendant. She's out of state right now. But yeah, definitely. So I know your time is valuable. I have two quick fun questions to ask you. One, best business advice, worst business advice you ever had?
Okay, so I've been lucky, very lucky, to work for some great people. So I worked at Smith Barney for 8 years when I first started as a part-time mail clerk, worked my way up to broker, great advice there. And then I worked for Stanley Haar at Haar Capital, who was a local hedge fund portfolio manager here in Boca Raton. I worked there 8 years before coming to the city. And I think I've learned a lot over the years, but I think my biggest thing is two things. One is fail fast, fail forward, like just move on, get it over with. And then always take a little time to take a victory lap,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Hold on, there you go. You got to do that. You got to freaking do that.
For you, so you might as well pat yourself. Exactly.
That's awesome. The other question I had, and I asked all my guests this because I have In the Hive with Michele B, which is my real estate podcast. And I ask anyone who comes on that show the same thing. So you started to do it here. If you could break bread with anyone famous, dead or alive, what would it be? And would you do it at home or would you do it at a restaurant? And the restaurant can be anywhere you want.
Okay, if I could break bread with anybody famous, who would it be? Ugh.
Dead or alive?
I'm not the biggest, huh?
It could be dead or alive.
Dead or alive. I'm not sure who I would have dinner with. If I said Warren Buffett, I know he drinks Diet Coke and eats like Fritos, so I can't say him, although he's so intelligent. I love my food, so I can't say him.
You could say him and just say you'd bring your own little box lunch, which he would probably highly appreciate.
Okay, maybe I'll stick with him, and I think I would, that's a tough question because there's so many people I would like to sit down with, but I think I'd have dinner at home. My husband's a great cook, and he can have his Fritos and Diet Cherry Cola, and I could have my big bowl of something Italian.
There you go. See, that's perfect. I always say, and I've said this forever, but now I'm really saying it. If could do that, I would sit down with the queen.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Just because,
Just because why not?
Why not? Jessica, thank you so much for coming on today. I so appreciate it. I'm so glad your dogs are barking and not mine, because they normally lose their minds. Where can everyone find you? And if anyone is interested in moving a company here, how can they find you?
Best is to reach out through our economic development at myboca.us. It's our email address, but certainly go to myboca.us economic development for the resources that we can provide. We can provide a lot of things, not just financial incentives. We do expedite permitting and things of that nature. And we also, just to put it out there, we still have our small business recovery relief grant program open, up to $5,000 for small businesses that qualify. Obviously, you have to be in the City of Boca Raton, open for a couple. You'll see the criteria on our website, but that's something I should have mentioned earlier, especially to your audience. So thanks for giving me that chance.
We'll make sure it's in the description and the caption on the post. So no worries there. If you want to send that to me in an email, that would be great. And then I can just copy and paste it and put it in there. So make sure you're following them here on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Jessica's team has some really good articles that they post, especially I see on LinkedIn. Yeah. And that's a good place to be, by the way, people. Don't discount LinkedIn. It's a great place to be. They have short form video now and things like that. Yeah.
I mean, this is my first Instagram story, so thanks for putting up with my shenanigans. I'm learning as I go. Old dog, new tricks. No, but LinkedIn for me has been, I post to LinkedIn and people out of New York and Chicago, like, really? We were just saying best place to raise a family in Palm Beach County. Like, all those accolades, they don't realize it. So it's been very valuable to us.
Yeah, LinkedIn is actually like kind of a secret weapon. And not for nothing, I'm on Clubhouse. And I've been on that app since December, and I've already gotten real estate referrals from it anyway. But I'm on there, and it's a great way for me to talk about the city and lifestyle here and things like that. But the networking that's happening between Clubhouse, and we're learning more about really how to leverage LinkedIn, guys. So just a little social media tip there for any business owners that are watching. Get yourself on LinkedIn and start understanding how to leverage that and connect with people, because it really is fantastic, along with coupling it here with the gram. So Jessica, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Michelle. Thank you.
Thanks again for joining me today with this week's episode of So Boca Stories. If you would like to be considered for an interview or would like to sponsor the show and blog, please feel free to reach out to me. The link is in the show notes. I hope you have an amazing week.